Oh boy, this is an exciting day. Christmas has definitely come early. I had a whole bunch of boxes arrive, and I thought that I would have you guys a part of the ride, opening up all these boxes. And I think it would only be appropriate to open from smallest to biggest. So, first package, this is from Polar Pro. I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but let's open up this package and see what's inside. Always nice in the middle of November when it's really dark here in Finland to get something in the mail that really just cheers you up. I don't know if you guys know, but here in Finland at this time of year, today the sun came up at I think 9:30 in the morning and it's already dropping at 3:30. So we have about 6 hours of sunlight at the moment. So it's just not the nicest time of the year, especially when there's no snow yet. When the snow comes, then it gets a lot nicer. Ah, yes. Thank you so much, Polar Pro, for sending me Peter McKinnon's Variable ND Filter Edition 2 and the Mist Edition. Greatly appreciate you guys sending me these Polar Pro Variable ND filters. I'll have to do a test and test out edition number 1 versus edition number 2. Awesome. Okay, second box. This is maybe a little bit more random, but recently a company approached me and asked, would I be interested in testing out this product? And it's a little bit different than what people are used to, but this is a teleprompter. Now, the reason why I thought it would be fun to just try this out was it's a lot of work filming videos, and sometimes I find that it's actually easier to write out my videos. So I was wondering if I use a teleprompter, will it actually be easier to make really good high quality review videos? So this is from DeskView. So this is DeskView teleprompter. You basically have a smartphone that's gonna then project the text onto the teleprompter right here, and then this just goes around your lens so you can see what text you need to read. So DeskView, thank you so much for this teleprompter. All right, so now we're going for a little bit bigger box. This thing almost covers my face. By the way, I'm very terrible with knives. I still have no confidence in myself. I think I need to go hang out with Peter for a bit and get some lessons on knife skills 101. This is probably knife skill number 1 is never go towards yourself, but I just did that, but all good. So this is a package from Digitarvike, which is a camera shop here in Finland. Thank you for sending me this. Now I know what this is. This is the Canon 7200 RF lens F2.8. Digitarvike was kind enough to actually send this to me just to test out and do a review video on. So excited to try this lens. I've been trying to get my hands on this lens for a while because, well, let me show you why. Currently, I have the 7200 version 1, and this thing is ancient. I bought this in 2009 when I first started out in photography and filmmaking. And the funny story behind this lens is I remember when I first bought this lens, I was actually ashamed to pull it out. When I was hanging out with my friends who aren't photographers, if I took this out, they were like, whoa, what is that thing so huge? And I felt kind of embarrassed to think that maybe it's just a little bit overkill. And having this adapter to use it on the EOS R R5 camera makes this lens even bigger. So that's why I'm very excited to try out the RF lens 7200 because it is a lot smaller. As well, this lens has taken a beating. I dropped it one time and I bent the corner, so I can't even put a variable ND filter or anything. And as well, recently I dropped the whole lens and the zoom got stuck, but then I sent it to get fixed and they didn't even fix it because it was just gonna be too expensive. But then when they send it back, the zoom works again. So it's stiff, but it works. I used it on a shoot, but definitely not the most reliable lens anymore, and it's just huge, so I almost never use it. Should we open the RF and see just the size difference? Oh, this is exciting. Very rarely do I get actually excited about a piece of gear, but I'm excited to open up this lens. Well, look at that. Look at the size difference between that. It's almost like half the size when you have to have an adapter on the 7200. So very excited to try this out. Thank you, Digitarvike, for sending me this. I will take care of it and I'll send it to you back in one piece. I promise. I hope, because I don't want to pay the price for this if I break it. All right, last but not least, the biggest package that I got in the mail. Let me just open up this. There's always so much tape on these guys. Ugh. I should probably go to the gym more because this is not easy. Ah, yes. So this is Feiyutech's AK2000S. Now, I had the AK4500, which is a lot bigger, and this is their smaller version gimbal for maybe more lightweight setups. Very interested to try this because I am not a big fan of gimbals because they just feel big and heavy, and yeah, I just don't enjoy them. But if it's really as small as it looks like in this photo, very excited to try this out. So thank you so much, Feiyutech, for sending me this gimbal. Now, as much as I would love to test out and review all these products right now today, it's just not possible. But I definitely do want to go out and do some shooting today and test out some products. And I think the lens I'm gonna have to go test out is the 7200 RF lens, because I have been waiting to get my hands on this lens for a long time. So I think I'm gonna try to call my good friend Yummy and see if he wants to go out for a little bit of a shoot. Yummy, here's a gift.
Thank you.
How do you like the looks of the 7200 RF lens? It's tiny, eh?
Yeah.
My friend Yummy has come again on another shooting expedition. He is my loyal friend to always come on a photo shoot. We're gonna test the 7200 RF lens, shoot some photos, some video, and see how it performs. All right, spot number one was a total bust. I was trying to make use of the puddles to get some reflections, but the backdrop was just so ugly, so I'm trying to find a new location. Yummy, is it cold?
Nope.
He's warming up. He's doing his warm-ups.
Yeah.
This is like typical Finland Seinäjoki environment. Look at this, just farm fields everywhere. We're in the middle of nowhere, guys. I can admit it. Okay, I'm gonna do some photos here. Trying to use the leading lines here and then the puddles to get some cool reflections. All right, so the first two locations, we were trying to get the whole puddle double reflection, more of a, you know, that kind of shot, but now we're gonna use this location and use the leading lines of this huge ramp, and my good friend Yummy is gonna be behind the camera.
Yeah, let's do this.
And I'm gonna model. Like I said earlier, I'm definitely not a model, but I'm just gonna stand in the photo. Yummy, was this a good location or no? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, no.
No, yeah.
What do you think?
I think that looks pretty sick. Yeah, you're using the leading lines well. Good man, good man, good man. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the portrait shot on the new 7200 RF lens. Whenever I get a new piece of gear, I always want to go out into the field and have fun just shooting with this product to see how it really feels and to see what kind of photos I can get, rather than just looking at the specs of a lens or a piece of gear. And my first thoughts on this lens is, man, this is so much smaller than the previous versions. Now, I got my very first 7200 lens version 1 back in like 2009 or 2008, a long time ago, and this lens has been a workhorse for me. It's tested the times, it's lasted, but it is huge, especially nowadays with the RF cameras. You have to have this adapter, and just look at the difference in size between. It's almost half the size of the version 2 7200 lens comparing the 7200 RF lens. So size wise, this has been a pleasant surprise that you don't have to carry a huge heavy lens when you want to use a 7200 lens. Something else I noticed on this lens as well has the control ring, which is really handy if you want to set it to, for example, aperture or ISO, so you can just quickly increase the ISO if need be. And another thing I noticed that they've changed is, back in the day, for all you guys filmmakers, you know that when you have a variable ND filter, you can't just attach a lens hood because, well, how do you then change the intensity of the variable ND filter? Well, now Canon has added this little latch here, which you can open up. So when you put it onto the lens, there's this little opening here, which then allows you to move the variable ND filter and get access to that. So that's a nice little feature that they added into the lens hood. Not often are they making changes to small accessories like this, but for this lens, they have improved that. I think the only downside that I noticed about this lens is that if you're zooming from 70 millimeters all the way to 200 millimeters, it's a lot longer. It takes a lot longer to get all the way to the end, whereas I feel like with the other lenses, you just quickly zoom and it'll open up fully. So that does take a little bit of time, and for someone who's maybe a sports photographer or a wildlife photographer, you want to quickly zoom and change the focal length, that might be a problem. But for me, it's probably not the end of the world, but it is something that I noticed that it does take a lot longer to zoom with this lens. But while shooting with the 7200 RF lens, I noticed that the lens was very accurate, very sharp when it came to focus. I didn't have any problems with that. And overall, it was a very enjoyable experience. It was nice having the flexibility of shooting at 70 millimeters, and then if I wanted to get tighter, I go to 135 or all the way to 200 millimeters as well, because I haven't been shooting that much with the 7200 for a long time. And I think one of the best parts about shooting with a zoom lens like this is getting that nice depth and compression to your photos. Now, if we look at these two different photos taken of Yummy, this first photo is taken at 135 millimeters. And as you can see, there's a really nice compression to the photo, really nice depth of field. And then I took another photo with the Canon 15-35 lens at focal length of 35. And as you can see, even though it's similar composition, it looks totally different. The first shot on the 7200 has a really nice compression to the shot, really nice depth of field, whereas then with the Canon 15-35, when shooting at 35 millimeters, you can see that there's a lot less depth of field and a lot less compression. And that's because when you're farther away from your subject and shooting with a tighter focal length like 135, you're farther away, but you're zooming in, which is then kind of compressing the shot. Whereas with a wide angle lens, you're closer to the person and you're able to get the person in the shot, but then there's just not as much depth or compression to the photo. So that's one of the perks, I think, of shooting portraits with a nice zoom lens like the 7200, that you get a nice compression and depth to the shots. For the video side, I just wanted to test out what the image stabilization is like on this lens. So this first shot, it's without any image stabilization, and as you can see, it's very shaky. You got those micro jitters that are very ugly, and then the moment you turn on the stabilization on, all of a sudden super smooth, really nice, and that footage was all filmed handheld. So definitely a great lens if you want to shoot both photo and video, because you're going to get that nice depth and compression when shooting portraits, but as well you're going to get nice smooth footage when you want to film video on this lens. So the question you guys are probably wondering, will this be a lens that I'm going to use in the future? And I gotta be honest, it's hard to say. If I'm really honest, shooting on a 7-200 lens is not the most ideal or the easiest for me. For some reason, I'm most used to shooting at 35 to 50 millimeters, and whenever it's a tighter lens like the 7-200, I find I have a lot more challenge shooting, but I think it might just be because I'm used to more shooting at 35 or 50, and if I just took more time to practice shooting with this lens, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more. But if you are looking for a high quality zoom lens, this 7-200 RF lens is great. I would say that this is just a really nice small addition to your camera bag. It is a little bit expensive, but hey, any lens that's high quality is gonna cost, and it's gonna be a long-term investment. Like I said, with my original 7-200, I bought this back in 2008, so this was 12 years old, and I think when I bought it, it was already used, so this is a very old lens, and still I've been able to use it. So I think it'll be the same with this RF lens. You buy it once, but you can use it for the next 10 to 20 years because it's such a high quality, good lens. I think in the end, time will only tell, will I continue to use this lens, but I really enjoyed testing it out, and I want to give a quick shout out again to Tiniest here in Finland, which is an amazing camera shop, for lending me this lens to test out and make a review for you guys. I really enjoy making reviews so you guys can see different lenses and different cameras in real life action. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this quick review of the Canon 7-200 RF lens. If you are new to the channel, remember to hit that subscribe button. That way you can stay up to date on my latest videos. And for all of you guys who have already been subscribed for a while, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being a part of this channel. It's awesome to have you guys a part of this community. Alright guys, it's time to head out. Adios amigos, peace out, enjoy.